Hello, 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 friends and family and friends. Welcome. It is time for another episode of Grover Takeover. I hope you're ready. I hope you've been enjoying the shows. It's so good to have you back again. Make sure that you're doing all those important things that I have to talk about at the beginning of every show. Like, comment, subscribe, share, that notification bell on YouTube. This is, I show this on a couple different platforms. So, all of that stuff comes in. This is my co-host Noah. He's going to his normal spot. That's not usually where he usually sits over there and just looks at me with a judgmental look while I'm doing this. So I guess he's on his way to get his audience spot. He's my audience and co-host in a lot of ways, I guess. Let's jump right into this week's show. I got a lot to cover, so let's get to it. I was forced to do something that I did not want to do, and that was to check out the VERSUZ battle between ASHANTI and KEYSHIA Cole. Now, this is my issue with that. ASHANTI is a great songwriter. She got her start and got kind of put on because she did a lot of writing for J-Lo at the start of her career. If it were not for ASHANTI, J-Lo may not have had as successful of a music career she had, because ASHANTI was the voice behind. She did background vocals for J-Lo. I mean, when you need ASHANTI as your background singer, then what kind of singing are you realistically doing? But either way, that's how she kind of got to start. KEYSHIA Cole, I have never been a fan of KEYSHIA Cole. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I am. I briefly mentioned in a video just last week mentioning her. Anybody that records an entire album singing in the wrong key on every song, I just can't. She's always singing the wrong key. Now, I'm a singer, so that may not mean anything to a lot of you. You guys are just listening to the lyrics and jamming to the music, enjoying it. But I mean, she makes me want to gouge my ears out. Not even plug them up, gouge them. So this was not a versus battle that I had any interest in whatsoever. However, in order to do this and do it the right way, I am forced to have to watch some things that I do not want to see. And this was one of those things. Now, the VERSUZ battle had 8 million viewers, something crazy like that, besting Brandy and Monica's views. People were interested. People wanted it. That didn't have anything. That's fine. What I'm saying has nothing to do with you guys. If you guys are fans of the two, that's awesome. The VERSUZ battle started an hour and a half late because KEYSHIA Cole showed up really late for the battle. Both of them looked really good. When KEYSHIA Cole did arrive, she was really weird. Her behavior was strange. She kept getting up out of her chair. She seemed to be making a lot of shady comments, and just as if she didn't almost like she didn't want to be there. But then, you know how ASHANTI is. She gave those shady comments. ASHANTI flashed that big, beautiful smile of hers, opened her mouth real wide, and did that crazy laugh that she always does. Can't talk about nobody's laugh. I can't, but I'm gonna. And she took it like a real pro. She didn't even entertain any of it. The sound quality was bad, which was very easily realized. They were both singing live here and there on it, but they were singing over the tracks themselves. So yeah, it was a freaking mess. It was a whole debacle, just like I knew it was going to be, which is why I had no interest in it whatsoever. Now, KEYSHIA Cole took to social media to explain her behavior, and she said she was nervous. So her being nervous made her well over an hour late. Her being nervous made her keep getting up out of her chair. Her being nervous gave her, I guess, a bad attitude. Her being nervous made her shady. KEYSHIA Cole was nervous, y'all. She wants y'all to know it. Yeah, that thing happened. Whatever. That's a cop-out. This is a woman that has performed in front of audiences of thousands of people that listen to her sing off key. And she proudly sang these songs off key. And you didn't seem nervous then. I don't know what made you so nervous about being alone in your personal space. I don't know if she was at home, but I do know they were separated and she was by herself. They both had a little setup kind of deal. But you got nervous about a versus battle where you're literally just talking into a camera like I'm doing right now. AKA same thing. You can see ASHANTI. You're talking back and forth to ASHANTI, but you're there by yourself. You're so nervous that you're stupid. Okay, whatever. Tell us anything. We'll believe it. Some of us will. Anyway, I don't really have much to say about this. I literally did this whole entire story for you guys. Like I said, I'm forced to do stories about stuff that I don't want to talk about because I'm trying to do a talk show up here, and that's what talk show hosts do. So there it was. I talked about the versus battle. It sucked. It just like I knew it was going to. Not going to pretend like it was good. I was gritting my teeth and just bearing it until I could get through it. But then after I got through it, I realized I still don't have anything realistically to say about this because it sucked. So next, I got to move on to this Salt and Pepper biopic that premiered this weekend. And Salt and Pepper, excuse me, Peppa. I'm saying Pepper because I'm getting where I am. Salt and Pepper completely tried to erase Spindarella from the movie like she did never exist. Now, mind you, Salt and Pepper did have a different DJ before Spindarella, but that was back in the 80s when they first started. Spindarella was their DJ from the 80s all the way through to the 2010s. So for 30 years, they had a big falling out basically because Spindarella got sick of them always trying to leave her out of things because they wanted to split their money 2 ways instead of 3. Be clear that she was so good at what she did. What were y'all rapping to if she wasn't back there? She clearly was good at it. You let her stand back there for 30 years. And she got so good at it that, you know, when they did interviews, people wanted to interview her. They gave her, she was in the videos, like she was everything. They left her completely out of the movie. Palm trees. I'm going to try to find some palm tree emojis or something to put up for you because the shade is real. Oh, Salt and Pepper. That's so ugly. How you just going to act like the lady never existed? I don't care what anybody says. Claudia Jordan said it on her show on Fox Soul that she feels like they're jealous of her and have always been because she's the prettiest. I didn't say that. I'm quoting Claudia Jordan, but I got eyeballs, and I've always thought she was the prettiest. And they went so far as to, like, basically to discredit her as a member, period. Greed, nothing but greed. I don't care what nobody said. You are greedy. Y'all are up there. You don't want to split that money 3 ways, so you try to just oust her out the group. Now, she did sue them a couple years back, but she sued them rightfully because because they were trying to keep her money and try to keep her from her bag, keep her from what she was trying to do. They've always tried to undermine her. Pepper went so far as to get on the Breakfast Club the other day and say that Spindarella was a non-factor. Your new face is a non-factor. You look like a Castaway Jackson that nobody wanted. Your boobs look like some balloons that a 3-year-old blew up because that's as much air as got in them. And you know she's big. She got some big brawny man shoulders and some little tiny, round, perfectly round C-cup boobs. None of this is working. And that Jackson nose and all that crap you did to yourself, that's why she needs more money. She's trying to hang on to the money so that she can get more plastic surgery done to herself so she can look even more ridiculous than she looks right now. I don't know what is wrong with Salt because she is a Christian, be clear. She doesn't even like to rap any of their songs, have most of their songs anymore, refuses to perform some of the songs, and will only do edited versions of the song because, the glory be to God, she is a Christian woman. That's all fine and good. Did the Lord tell you to try to act like that lady that contributed greatly to your success did not exist? I don't think he told you that. They're just petty old women at this point. That's all I have to say about that. I'm moving on because that's all I have to say, literally. Petty old woman stuff. You're greedy and you're petty and you should be ashamed of yourself. I'm about to move on to Raz B because Raz B is back again. When I tell you that he is never going to let Christopher Stokes rest, Chris Stokes, I don't know what you did to this boy. I don't know what kind of touching and went on and happened, but Raz B has been going on with this for now about 13 years. 13 years now. And before, let me also give a little backstory. Raz B came from the pop group B2K. You know, B2K was huge in the early 2000s. Omarion, if you're not familiar with B2K, Omarion used to be the lead singer of B2K. Everybody knows who Omarion is. Wonderful. He came out years ago and said that Chris Stokes, be clear that Chris Stokes may have been their manager, but Chris Stokes is also his cousin. He came years ago to say that this man molested him and Marcus Houston. I don't know what they did to him. Whatever it was, he didn't like it. And he has done nothing but talk about it for the last 13 years. Every time anybody talks to him about anything, he comes back with this story. There have been cease and desist orders and everything. And he is like, you can sue me all you want to. There's nothing for you to get. That group ended 1 million years ago. I don't have no money like that. But I want my justice and my justification, because you shouldn't have been touching around my peen or behind butthole, whatever was being touched. I don't know what happened. He didn't like it, whatever it was. Now, Chris Stokes, the accused, allegedly, I'm sorry, I didn't say allegedly, but either way, Chris Stokes, the alleged toucher, has done everything he could possibly do to silence this man. He has done everything within his power to stop this man from talking. Now look here, family. It is hard for a man to come forward and say that he's been touched upon and molested and all this stuff by another man. When Rasby first came with these stories, they called him gay. They said he was doing it for attention. They said he was just trying to get money. They said all types of things. Now, when the women come forward and they Me Too and they move, we get right behind them for the most part. Now, black women have a hard time. If you're a black woman, you come out, they're going to try everything they can. They're going to call you a hoe. They're going to say you wanted it. They're going to do everything they possibly can. But when men come forward, that is a true test of manhood for you to go forward and be able to say, hey, this happened to me and I was molested, I was touched, I was this, that, and the other. Nobody wants that stigma. The stigma that's attached to him with that has never gone away. And I'm sorry. If he is staying on this and it's been all these years later, it happened. You touched him. You did something to him. You put your mouth on his peen or peen on mouth or hand on butter, hand on peen. It was something inappropriate happened, because this man is not just going to keep on with this for all these years if nothing actually happened. Nobody's going to just keep after somebody for like this for all these years. Chris Stokes doesn't have that kind of money, and he's already said he does not want money. He wants him to take a polygraph test, and he wants it to be proven to be true so he can move on with his life. I hope he gets the resolve that he wants so he can get the mental peace. The man wants peace, clearly. This is bothering him. Basically, he's traumatized by his abuse. Now, that was a mouthful. Omarion's brother, Orion, oh boy, what is wrong with y'all's old mama, but that's neither here nor there. Either way, Omarion's younger brother, Orion, has a daughter. The daughter is grown up now. He posted a picture with his daughter on social media yesterday, I think it was. But when he posted a picture, basically he's just saying happy birthday to his daughter. He's proud of her, this, that, and the other. Chris Stokes put a comment underneath, basically like, hand clap emoji, cheer emoji, ooh, woo, there for you emoji. Oh, Ryan was like, oh, hell no. Oh, no. He got right under that comment and was like, in all caps, take the polygraph. He knows something. They all know something. I just don't understand why they're not supporting this dude that they keep saying, calling his brother. But Orion was like, I don't have anything to lose. So he got under there and he said what he had to say. And it was what it was. It's sad. It's a very sad day when you can get on there and you think you could be touching all around somebody's body parts, whether they're young or not, and not everything happened to you. That ain't okay. You can't you can't do that. You can't touch people. I'm gonna move away from that story because that's pretty much all I know about it and all that I care about or had to say about it. The next thing I want to talk about is the most ridiculous thing that I have heard in a long time. I'm so tired of some of you, I should say, because some of y'all are too woke. Some of you are too woke. Don't you know that when you stay awake for too long and you are deprived of sleep, there's a disorder. They gave it a name. It's called sleep deprivation. And when you suffer from sleep deprivation, all kinds of crazy things happen to you. You start to hallucinate. You don't know where you are. You start to not be able to function through daily activities. So some of you are just entirely too woke. And everything has to be a problem. Now, I said all that because T.I. is cast as one of the main characters in a new movie for Netflix called Cutthroat City. Okay? It's not important what the movie's about, because that's not what this story is about. His character in the movie, because if you want to see the movie, it's on, like I just said, it's on Netflix. Watch it. But T.I.'s character in the movie suffers from vitiligo. Now, vitiligo is a skin disorder that is a delayed form of albinism. Albinism is what albinos suffer from. It is where you lose, people that are albino, they're not born with pigment in their skin and eyes and hair. People that suffer from vitiligo, this delayed forms, the gene for the albinism catches up with them later in life. So then they start to get the splotchy skin and have, they kind of look, people say they look like the cow print or whatever because they're just being terrible. But, so it starts to happen later on in life. It's either way, the character suffers from vitiligo. So they gave T.I. the splotchy skin, with his makeup. Here comes some woman. I'm not even going to say her name because I'm not even giving you any type of shine, even to my viewers. This woman comes on now. She suffers from vitiligo in real life. And she came on to say that T.I. should apologize expeditiously because he should be ashamed of himself for playing this role because she found it offensive, because there are plenty of people that suffer from vitiligo, plenty of actors out there that actually suffer from vitiligo who could have played this role. I'm just letting it sink. I'm letting it sink. Shut up. Shut up. How you gonna sit up here and tell this man who went to a casting call and auditioned for a role and got the role and they gave him the role that somebody with vitiligo should have played the part, so it's his fault and that he should apologize? Tom Hanks played an AIDS patient in the movie Philadelphia. There are probably plenty of people with AIDS that could have played that role, but nobody came forward to say that one of the AIDS patients should have been playing the role and that Tom Hanks should be ashamed of himself. Whoever you are, woman, you wanted attention. You wanted somebody to talk about you. Look at us. We're talking about you. But you are full of it. Shut up. Like I said, be quiet. Close your mouth. Censor your own self. You should be ashamed for not having anything better to do than to sit up here and make it seem like something's wrong with T.I. for accepting a role. There are people that have played roles where they had disorders all over. Who was it? Bette Midler? One of them back in the day when they were in that movie Beaches, that sad movie when the lady died of cancer. She didn't have cancer for real. Do you understand? Do you understand what I'm saying? That you sound ridiculous? Like I said, everything has to be a problem these days. You're woke, too woke. Take a nap, go to sleep, get some rest so that your mind can return to its normal state and stature. These people are ridiculous out here. Ridiculous. I sure hope that you enjoyed this episode of Grover Takeover. I'm enjoying doing them for you. I'm having a good time with you. I am reading your comments, those of you that are commenting. Remember that I still need you to comment and send me things that you would like for me to do reaction videos to. Keep watching, keep commenting. I need suggestions. Give me things that you'd like for me to even talk about. I want to talk about what you want to talk about. So right now, like I said, until you do that more, I'm going to keep picking all the topics because it's my show. Again, I thank you for tuning in. Remember to like, Remember to subscribe. Remember to comment. Remember to share. Remember that God loves you. Even sometimes when you don't love yourself, don't you ever forget that God loves you. Those of you that, people that are lost and you feel like there is nowhere to go, you can always turn to him. Because, and you may not believe in the same God that I believe in, but find a higher being and a higher purpose, something to cast your worries and your cares on so that you don't have to do this alone, this thing called life. I want you to have a good day. I want you to have a good night, and I want you to have a good life. Come back again for your next dose. You guys have a good night. I love you. You know that I love you.